Hello. It is day one of my very first week of 75 booked. And we are kicking it off with some shopping and an earbud audiobook listen through. And I will update you when I'm done. Okay, my first reading sprint of the day was audiobook Birding with Benefits. So far adorable. This is where they get me with romance books, and then I'm going to get really annoyed with them. Is there a romance book out there that doesn't have a third act conflict where they just get together and we just end the book? Because I would buy those books. Anyway, I got from 20% to 34%, and that's pretty good. I think my 45-minute sprint turned into about an hour and 15 minutes. So, yay for that. It is a beautiful day too. Morning. I tried to film last night, but it was dark and I had a towel on my head and it was a whole thing. Anyway, I read last night for my second sprint and good Lord. I made it to I think page 150 in Hunger Games, which was not very much, like 25 pages, but between starting to feel really tired and having about 75 interruptions, I did pretty good. I did make it to 45% this morning of my audiobook Birding with Benefits, and it is very cute. Very, very cute. Didn't know that they could make bird watching sexy, but here we are. Now I've gone dark. Okay, gotta go to work.
Well, hello. Happy day 3. I have not vlogged at all today, but I did get up this morning and what did I do? That was so many hours ago. I made it to 62% on Birding with Benefits. It's getting a little saucy, and I have a coworker that absolutely, like, when I read all of the, like, Swift and Saddled, Done and Dusted, Wild and Wrangled, when I read those books, God, it cracked her up, the names. And I was like, you're gonna like this one. Birding with Benefits. And yeah, it did not disappoint. It's so funny because it's a book about two people that are birding. They're literally trying to find species of birds, and the person who gets the most, it's like this town-wide um, um, I'm glitching contest. Good Lord. Um, and anyway, they're in this contest, and for reasons, they are together on a team and are finding themselves with a certain attraction, and have decided to be like friends with benefits kind of a thing. You know what's gonna happen there. But anyway, I'm enjoying it. It is, I do find it a little odd because I was listening to it on the way home just now, and it's really weird to be like listening to the super saucy stuff in your earphones, like when you like have teenage boys milling about. It's just, I don't know, it's a little weird. They knew what mom was listening to. Anyway, I worked a 14-hour day. I went in at 5:30. I got off at 8:15 p.m. and I am exhausted. But I read this on my lunch break. I read this between patients today when I had little breaks in my day. And I am going to sit here and read this until I cannot hold my eyes open. And I'm sorry if that's, not in my rules, but I cannot stay up too late tonight because I have to be back at work tomorrow at 5:30. But then I get to go on a girls' trip, so I will earn that trip. Anywho, I'm really hoping. I was hoping to finish this before going on that girls' trip because I have a huge stack of books over here, and I just like want to start a new book on my trip. We rented a house with a pool. It's like an hour away. It's in a town that people do not go for a vacation, but we literally, like, our only thing that we wanted to do was float around in a pool. I have 3 friends. We just want to float around in a pool. We want to read our books. We want to talk a lot. eat our snacks, and like that's it. And so we were kind of last minute, and we found the only house with its own pool. So that is what I'm doing. And I want to take, anyway, all that to say is I want to take a new book. So I'm going to try my hardest between tonight and tomorrow to get as close as I can to the end of this. I do have it on my phone so that when I'm at work and I have some downtime, I can read a few pages at a time. I will see you tomorrow.
Okay, Scrub Sarah here. Day 4. So last night, I believe I updated that I was about to start reading. I could not even focus. It was just too long of a day. I think I got 4 pages read. But this morning I got up, I listened to 45 minutes of Birding with Benefits. And let me just tell you that the smut scenes in a birding book just go on and on and on. I was like, I'm not even sure if 45 minutes went by and they got done with their first night together. So, yeah, if you're single out there, maybe find a dude that birds. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to sit and eat my lunch, and I am going to read Hunger Games. I have a girls' trip. I'm not sure how much I'm going to be able to update, but I'm leaving today at 5:30, and I'm very excited about it. And I'm hoping to get just a ton read this weekend, and just because this has been a lot of week.
You remember that time that I started a challenge and was like, I am not going to buy books, but I am allowed to go buy little free libraries? Well, this happened today. It's a book of the month book, so it's in really good condition. It's called A Good Marriage. I've never heard of it. This one's name was so cute, I couldn't not. Arsenic and Adobo. And then this was, I assume, what the show is based on. And I think the show got a little naughty, and so I was like, I don't know if I would like that. But then I read the synopsis, and it really sounded good. Also, it really matches my nails really, really well. And for that, it came home with me.
Hello from my girls' weekend. I have this whole room to myself. Come look over here. Look over here. That is a river right there. And that's a pool right there. And I am fixing to put on my swimsuit and do my very first reading sesh floating in the pool. And that is the number one thing me and my friends looked for in a girls' weekend. And we actually went to a town where everybody laughed at us because we were coming here, but it was literally the only like large pool that we didn't have to share with other people that we could find. And so we are here. I am pivoting. I have made it to page 200 of the Hunger Games. I made it there last night on my second sesh. This doesn't feel like floating in the pool. Plus, it's so beautiful. If I got it wet, I'd be so sad. We're gonna go with Jane Green's The Beach House. There's a chance that I will not like this because her last few, I loved her stuff in the early 2000s. I'm dating myself. I loved her stuff in the early 2000s, but then the later stuff I have not enjoyed. But I have had this on my bookshelf forever, so The Beach House it is. If I don't love it, I brought a second backup. Summer's Child. These are both off of my August TBR, so that will help with multiple things, but I'm going to start with Beach House, and I will update later. This is terrible lighting, but I am laying down. I'm all fresh-faced, clean hair, sweet. We swam all day. Well, we floated around in floaties and read our books, and that I'm including that as my very first reading sprint, and that was The Beach House, and I like it so far. I made it to page 51. I read at the pool, and then I read a little bit more now because we were just watching Schitt's Creek and kind of all reading. We are big partiers on a girls' trip. Now I'm going to read The Hunger Games. Katniss is going through it. I knew I've read this before, but I forgot a lot of stuff. So I will catch up with you tomorrow. Happy day 6 of the 75 booked. I woke up this morning. I'm going to drop a picture. I was on my girls' trip, and my friend and I sat and read by the river for like an hour and a half this morning. So I read this, The Beach House, and then I listened to Birding with Benefits while I got ready for the day. So that was my first sprint of the day. I just kind of did the opposite. Listened to Birding with Benefits while I made my lunch, sat and ate my lunch and everything, and now I'm laying down. I'm about to take a nap. I don't know if you could notice, but I am leaking. I have got sinuses. I'm hoping it is the bronchitis that I have been dealing with, the upper respiratory infection that has just ruled my life for 6 weeks now. Everything is just hopefully breaking up and flowing. But I'm like laying here. I've got my trusty, this is an unpaid actor in my channel now. But I'm gonna lay here and read The Hunger Games for the other half of my sprint. So I don't think I've done that yet, where I've done like half of a sprint audiobook, half of a sprint physical book, and I've done it twice today. So there you go. This book I like, but the one thing I don't like about Jane Green, really liked her in the early 2000s, but then her later books, it's like every book has to have like 10 main characters, and it's always like a group of people, whereas Jemima J and what was the other one, Mr. Maybe, I think there was one called Bookends. All of those were, like 1 to 4 people or something. And this is like one of her later, more recent. It's from 2008, but it's a lot of people. But so far, I still like it. I like that it's in Nantucket. Get that little beach vibe towards the end of the summer. But I'm gonna help Katniss get through some more of the Hunger Games. So now that I'm not sitting by a pool, this is calling me. This eye and this nose are leaking like a sieve. But I finished Birding with Benefits today. I made it to page 229 of The Hunger Games. It has been a very productive reading day for me. And that's all I have to say. I'm gonna go blow my nose again.
Happy day 7. This is my last day of filming for my first reading vlog of my 75 booked. This morning I got up, so yesterday on audio I finished Birding with Benefits, and I went to my next audiobook that was ready from Libby, and it was Awake by Jen Hatmaker, which is nonfiction, and it is so juicy already. I want to read it constantly. I have followed her since probably 2013 and knew her as like a Christian writer back when I used to like shout to the Lord, go to conventions and stuff. She was at them, and I have watched her. I have cried with her while she posted videos of adopting children from Africa. I have watched her beautiful children grow up. I have watched her marriage and them start a church, and then now this one's about how she found out her husband was having an affair. And the very first, I'm not even like, she read this on the Today Show, so I'm not even giving anything away, but the very first paragraph is that she woke up 2 o'clock in the morning from a dead sleep and heard her husband saying, "I just can't quit you." Like he was doing voice to text on his phone. And that's how she found out. So it got saucy real fast. Anyway, I am already 32% into that book. So I listened to a little bit of it last night while I did the dishes, and then I got up this morning and listened to an hour before I went into work. And it was one of those things, like, I could not wait to, like, get up and pop in my earbud and start listening. And that's the beauty of reading. Sometimes you find those books. But I don't have to work tomorrow. Today's Monday. Tomorrow is Tuesday. It is my one day off this week. I work 10-hour days, so I work 4 10s. It's my day off. And I just decided that I think I'm going to try to stay up until I finish the Hunger Games, just so that I have an audiobook and a physical book read in my first update. And yeah, it's probably not advised considering that I am still dealing with bronchitis. But I have tomorrow. I could take a nap tomorrow and we could get books done. And wouldn't that be fun? So I will, so I've updated you about Sprint 1. And now I am on to Sprint 2, and it might be Sprint 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's okay. Well, I got a second wind. I had a little bowl of cereal, took my meds, and I found a little friend. And we're just gonna read until we get so sleepy we don't want to read anymore. So, yeah, back at it. Katniss Everdeen is really going through it. She's met up with PETA. Things got sad with Rue. And yeah, let's get her out of the Hunger Games. How about? Well, friends, that is the end of week 1 and my first video of the 75 book challenge. Thanks for joining me. I ended up reading 678 pages. I finished Burning with Benefits. That was on audiobook. And I ended up giving it 4 stars. I really did. And that's hard. That's hard with a romance book for me. I get a little annoyed with the whole third act conflict. I would like them to get together and let's just close the book. So I'm very happy that I found that book. I was reading The Hunger Games, and I was trying to finish it last night and just couldn't do it. 278 pages of this sucker down. And I also started this on my girls' trip, the beach trip, the beach house. And I got 70 pages of that read. And so, total of 678 pages. And very happy with that. I'm hoping that my next week I finish these 2 books and maybe a little bit more. But in the last week, while doing this challenge, I had a day that I worked 14 hours. I got both my kids back to school. My son got sick and needed 2 different doctor's appointments, and I continue my 6-week bronchitis journey and had a doctor's appointment. And so, like, 3 doctor's appointments, 2 sick people, 2 kids back to school, long days at work, going every single day at 5:30 in the morning, plus going on a trip out of town. I think that I'm very glad I started the challenge, because I don't think I would have gotten that much read on this particular week of my life. But I just made it a priority to get stuff done. And the one thing I'm very excited about is I feel like I am like back on some audiobooks, because I did finish The Burning with Benefits, and then I immediately started Awake by Jen Hatmaker, and I'm already at 52%. I'm just kind of flying through it. And last night, her husband, ex-husband now in the book, was making me so angry that I went out to my poor neglected garden, and I like angry weeded for like 30 minutes. Like, had to come inside because I was getting eaten alive by mosquitoes, not because I wanted to quit. And when I tell you that that has not happened all summer because of the illnesses I've had, it has not. And it's thanks to reading. So, loving it so far. And I am very aware that on my very first day, I said that I was going to also like clean one thing, organize one thing in my house a day, and that was part of the thing. And I have done that
0 days. 0. I'm going to make up for it today. That's a whole nother video. And I am going to start doing that in week 2 of 75 books. So see you in a week.